From the very beginning, we knew the mainstream media was going to do everything they possibly could to protect The Little Mermaid, to push The Little Mermaid, to make sure that if there's any failures, if there's any disappointments, to blame it solely on the fan base. But I don't know if we've had any headlines quite like this. I'm not sure if we've had any accusations against fandom that go to this level. But after the opening weekend of The Little Mermaid, where it did disappoint the domestic box office, didn't reach what it was projected to hit, that $100 million opening, only $95 million 3-day, just a little over what Aladdin did 4 years ago. And of course, internationally, it's sinking. Just like we saw from so many of these articles out there, the international box office numbers are horrendous right now for Disney and for The Little Mermaid. But what did the media want to talk about? Of course, they wanted to talk review bombing, about toxic fans, about racist fans. But the headline we saw here is something I don't know we've heard before. Ratings terrorism, overseas response to The Little Mermaid. This is how far they're going. They are equating what's happening with The Little Mermaid ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, all this stuff with terrorism. That's how seriously, apparently, they are taking this. If someone doesn't like a movie, if someone voices their opinion and says, I don't think this is very good, you're an online terrorist and you're attacking. You have a jihad. It's a jihad on the fucking Little Mermaid. That's the level to which the mainstream media is headed right now. And it's all coming down to the international box office. Now, again, if this movie does exactly the same right now, if it tracks right along the way with Aladdin domestically, hey, that's great, solid domestic number. Unfortunately, if it doesn't do big numbers internationally, this is a movie with a massive budget, with a huge marketing budget that could lose money for Disney at the box office. This looks like a movie that likely needs to get somewhere in the realm of $750, maybe even $800 million, depending on the marketing budget, just to break even. And right now, with its very, very slow start internationally, the media is desperate to try to blame fans for this. We talked about this over the weekend. There's something fishy overseas as Disney picked beset by review bombing. Heard the same thing about the Chinese box office. The Little Mermaid flop sparks debate on racism, casting, and political correctness. Because as much as they can try to spin things in a good light here in the United States for this movie, there's really nothing they can do about the international number. Right now, if everything continues to track the way it has, not just in China and Korea, but other places, including Europe, including South America, if it continues along this path, that does spell nightmare for Disney. This would be a travesty for them. It would be a disaster. So they are desperate to try to explain it away. And what they're saying is that it has everything to do with racist fans and these online campaigns. And because people are out there voicing their opinion on The Little Mermaid, essentially that equates them to being a terrorist. And just go and look at the scores. We see over on Rotten Tomatoes a very interesting difference when you look at the top critics and the all audience versus the verified audience and the all critics, obviously. This verified audience score, that 5,000 plus, has not moved, you know, in days, to be honest with you. That number has not gone anywhere. It's sitting at 95%. Not only, which would make it the top-rated live-action Disney movie, or the live-action remake that they've ever had, but also higher than the original Little Mermaid. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do enjoy this film, although I think overall it's probably pretty split. If you're telling me this movie's better than the original animated version, you can go fuck yourself. You can fuck off with that. That's why this number is so laughable. When you look across the landscape, it certainly seems more split. And when you go to what IMDb has, a 7 out of 10, might seem a little high until you realize that because of what is being alleged, because of the ratings terrorism that's being alleged all across the world, I do like how they put this #1 movie in the world crossed out. That's pretty good. But you can see IMDb, our rating mechanism, has detected unusual voting activity on this title. To preserve the reliability of our rating system, an alternate weighting calculation has been applied. Basically, there's too much negativity surrounding this, so we're not going to count that as much. That's what this is saying. Now, this is not something IMDb has ever done when it comes to fake 10-star reviews or review bombing in a positive manner. They've never done anything like this, and that's certainly happening with this movie. You can look around on Twitter, you can look around on Reddit, and you can see these Disney stans giving people directions on how to sign up for these sites, how to write a review, what the review should be, what rating you should leave. in an effort to counteract the negativity. Those are just as fake as anything else. There's positive review bombing or review boosting going on as well, but the media never wants to call that ratings terrorism, do they? It's funny how that works, but you can see a ton of 1 stars. If you take away their new average, it's actually a 4.7. If you take away their weighting, which means that they're not going to weigh the 1-star reviews as high as all the positive ones, then you're looking at just under a 5. I mean, it's getting demolished over on Metacritic. There's nothing you can do to save this thing on Metacritic, a 2.1, where you have the critic reviews sitting right around a 59%. This will only continue. The idea that, and it's even here, like this ratings terrorism stuff is being reported on Deadline. Like, that's where it's at. Korea's SBS News reported heading into the weekend the film had been subject to ratings terrorism in an article whose title, Korean entertainment website, says Backlash Against the Black Little Mermaid. Appearance ridiculed, ratings drop on day 1. It's so funny how when people don't like something, it's called review bombing. When some people like something, oh, there's nothing there. Oh, you don't say anything there. What are the critics racist when they give something a bad review? When the critics didn't like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it was because of racism over Jonathan Majors as Kang. It's so funny how the media always tries to present this a certain way. The reality is, are there fake 1-star reviews? Are there fake bad reviews for this? 100% there are. Are there fake positive reviews for this? Abso-fucking-lutely. And the idea that there's not is absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous. It happens with every single movie out there, but they only want to paint it in a certain light when the negativity overwhelms that positivity. You're a terrorist if you don't like The Little Mermaid and you voice your opinion about it. That is the next step. We've had racist, we've had bigot, we've had homophobe, we've had all this stuff. Now you're a terrorist if you leave a bad review online. Let me know about the latest ridiculousness from Disney and The Little Mermaid in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.